I have my fire, my books, my clock, my window on the world where they do other things. I could have been unhappy. I'm not unhappy. This was a successful life, and when it is over, the sweet earth will fill my mouth, softer than splinters. Hello, and I don't know about you, but a recurring issue in my day-to-day life is accidentally starting cults. As you do. So I've decided to put some effort in and do some research and learn how to successfully not build a cult. And to start this, I'm looking at the game Cultist Simulator, one of its minor endings. Mundane minor ending. Evening Falls, it's called. So, before we get into this, I'm going to have to do a little orientation to all the cards in the game. So this game is kind of like a top-down, almost kind of like strategy card-ish game, and it's easy to explain. So let's start with kind of the most common card types. Your most common one are your permanent action cards. These are all the ones up the top here. They're a bit bigger, and these are unique. These actions will remain on the board even after they've been completed, and they can be completed over and over again once unlocked. These include, work, time passes, study, dream, explore, and talk. Followed by these, we have ability cards. These are your health, reason, and passion. So these allow you, your key skills, how healthy you are, how good you are at reasoning, how passionate you are, and you use these actions in different requirements, and more you have, the more skillful you are in that. Now, to get more skilled at a particular area, you have advancement cards. Each of these have a temporary card. So these decay after a time period, but you collect enough of them and you can combine them to make a permanent new ability card. And third are unique, called, that are the most populous, are called decaying cards. Now these are, in this example, we have hiring, we have all jobs cards which decay if you don't refresh them, or something like a human corpse, which after a period of time will decay either into nothing or into a new card, depending on the type. We are wanting to not build a cult. Now, in order to do that, there are kind of 4 main steps. And let's get into this. So your first step is your introduction step. So this is all your setup. You've got to go get all your prerequisites kind of all set up. Okay, in this area, so we're starting with a fresh save. You know what? We don't have a job. We have menial work, which is your up the top. We'll have menial work. Now that we use to start off, we put it into the work action. That returns a dream, a health, and some money. So funds are a unique one that gets used up by time passing. Time passing every 60 seconds takes a coin from our funds collection. If we are at 0, we lose. We just die of hunger. Not very fun. Wouldn't recommend it. 2 out of 10. So, from there, we've unlocked the action card Dream. Now we take that dream and we combine it with study. So no, that is wrong. dream on its own, after a couple of cycles, spits out study, passion, and a decaying card called contentment. I don't have it on display because we don't use it for anything in this case. Then study will give us our first reason, give us 10 funds, so give us a bit more money, and an item called the bequest. Now, the item called the bequest can be studied with either passion or reason, but for the sake of this speed run, we go with passion so we can use our reason in the next stage at the same time. And that, once it triggers, its time ticks over, will spit out directions to Morelands and notes on a possible collaborator. So now that we have, so obtaining a job section of this contains a few different sections. As first and foremost, to obtain a job, which is the easiest part. Then we've got to do a few other things before we move on to the next stage. So to obtain a job, while we're studying the a bequest item with our passion, we use our reason and the work action. With those two combined, we'll spit out the card Junior Work at Glover and Glover. We get a junior position as a 9-to-5 job. Excellent. Getting real there. That card can be used with work and it'll spit out money. Keeps us living. So with that then, if we apply extra reason, now we go to job with a vigor in our step and a reason armed with our brains and wits, we can get past our probation, our junior position, to a full position at Glover and Glover. Getting the card replacing junior position with just position at Glover and Glover. But we do run into a little trick, a little hiccup, you could say. Our boss, Mr. Adrian, I think it's Adrian, doesn't like us. And unfortunately, we need his job. So, the most reasonable thing I could think of, and you know what, get him off our back, there's two ways. One, we can wait for him to die. There is a 2% chance every time we go to our job, put in a bit extra effort in, put an extra reason card in, that he just dies of old age. Now that's not very reliable and it's not very fast. And while I've successfully pulled that off, it's not a reliable way. So the alternative, we just need, a way to get rid of him. So naturally, we hire an assassin. I know that sounds a bit extreme, but stick with me. But before we can do that, while we're doing this whole work with the jobs, at the same time, our study of a bequest item will be finished. That will spit out the directions to Morelands, which we will study to get the explore action and notes on a possible collaborator. By studying that, we will get the talk action, all very important things for our day-to-day life, and not forgetting our primary objective, to not build a cult. So next thing is, our job is requiring a lot of wit and reason, so we need to get a second one. We take our reason, and we do some study on it. We do some hit the books, do some word puzzles, some, Wordle, whatever people are playing these days. Get our brain pumping, and that will give us an advancement card called Erudition. Yeah. That card we'll need to study again. We need to get 2 of those. Now that is a decaying card, but it does not decay faster than we can get a second one. Once we have 2 of those cards, we use them together, study them together, and we will get a second reason card out of that. Okay, so now that we're armed with the ability to go explore, we can talk up our collaborators, and we are armed to our wits with reason. We can move on to the next stage of this, which is to entertain an assassin to kill our boss so that we can take his position and settle into a 9-to-5 life for the rest of our lives. Easiest way to do it. So we have to we use our health in this case to go exploring. So there is a 50-50 chance at this, if my numbers are correct, of being able to recruit a hireling. Now there are quite a few hirelings and they all have different chances of occurring, but all of them except one, which is the knock 5. So all the other ones can successfully deal with our boss. Now, of course, there is the ones, for example, that provide Edge 5 or Moth 5 there are only a 11% chance of occurring, but if we can get one of those, that gave us a 70% chance of success with dealing with our boss. Okay, so once we get one of those, if we don't get the right hireling or you don't get one at all, you just have to wait for your health to recover and go back and keep looking until you get one. That's the most kind of RNG part of this life speedrun. Next, once assuming we've got a hireling, we now go back we talk to the hireling about our job. We tell them, we have a job for you, we want you to go deal with our boss. He's been a real sad person. He's been real grumpy, not letting us move up the corporate ladder. And he's killing our dreams before we're allowed to kill our own dreams. So, we need him out of the picture. Now, depending on what hireling you got, you either have a 70% chance or I think a 50% chance of dealing with your boss. If you have the one that has a, Moth of 5, I think they try to drive them insane and get them mid to a cycle. If you have a one with Edge, he'll just kill your boss and you'll get you'll kind of get a corpse from it, from memory. So we don't care about the corpse though. Find a problem. So now that we dealt with that, we're into the final stages, which is to throw our hopes and ambitions at the wall and give up. So we go to our 9-to-5 job now that our boss is dealt with. That card does not change to a different card, but it changes minorly. So it becomes, I think, and then we go to that, go to work at the job, then that turns into eligible for senior position. Not quite senior position yet, but now your boss out of the way, they need someone to fill his roles, and you're looking mighty fine to do that. So you go to that and you put in 2 reasons. You show them that you've been holding back all this time. Your bosses hold it back, but now the opportunity's there. You've got double the wit to go to this job with, and you'll get the senior position. So now all we have to do is to hook, line, and sinker, lure it in, go to our senior position with our reason. We show our reason up, but we've also got to show our passion for this. Show that we're passionate to sit at a desk and upper management for the rest of our lives. And doing so, we toss any hopes, any dreams, and we settle down and successfully not build a cult. And I know that's a lot, I know it's hard, and I'm frankly absolute flabbergasted that I've managed to get through the past 22 years without building a cult, but I'm glad I've kind of got it down pat now. Now, we're going to go, and I know it's a lot of information and a lot of arrows and a lot of, so let's go see it in action. And we're going to go, let's go see it in action. Okay, let's first ignore that this video is like 2 months old at this point, and I just haven't got around to it, and I'm using a different webcam. Let's just ignore those two facts. So I'm just going to do a quick play-by-play run-through of my run, just to help kind of further explain the process. So this, I think, was the fastest time I managed to get. Okay. So obviously, we start up here and we just straight away menial employment into the work. It just gets us our funds, our healths, and starts the kind of dream process, which result in study. Also gets us our first passion. So from here, we just have to wait for study to do its thing. There's nothing else we can do at this point. Normally at this point I find people this where they put a name for the speedrun or whatnot. I'm not sure how we could really reduce the kind of intro stage besides just moving the mouse quicker. Bam. We get our bequest and we study that with passion while we put our reason into obtaining our job. Okay, being a bit slow here, but that's how we get our junior position, which then we will have to obviously upgrade to a regular position and then senior position to complete the process. Okay, while we're putting our extra effort in, that request returns, what is it called? Directions to Morelands, and notes on a possible collaborator, which, while we are upgrading our job, we can study to get those unlocked. So we do, and I can't remember if I mentioned this, we do the Moreland shop first to unlock Explore, so that we can be exploring while we are doing that. Okay. So, what do we get from that Explore? I don't think we got anything. Okay, we didn't get what we were wanting for. We didn't get win that 50-50 to get the hirelings. So, and see, when your health kicks in, I don't think I mentioned this, it returns a fatigued health, which I cannot use until that recovers. Now you can, I can't remember I use a trick where you use the fatigued health and funds to recover that quicker. Yep, so we go take, we don't use them funds, so we just sleep on the thing. I think it reduces the time by half. So, I can't see what they're, do we get is that the right person? No. So here, we won the 50-50 to get the hiring, and we got the Edge 3 hireling, which only has like a 50% chance of successfully killing a boss, but it's one of the more, it's probably the most, besides the Moth 3 one, is the most likely one you collect. And let's just try it. So, we gotta continue working. At this point, I should probably start. Oh, am I? I am. I'm also studying my second reason up here as well. So if we go into here, we go do that study again. In worst case, just...
Yep, and then... Okay, we have the bomb maker. Which then, once...
Right.
we've come back from our job... if the timing lines up correctly. Ooh. From there we can get our... Bam. So we send the bomb maker to kill our boss with upgrading our next... to get our next reason. I'm pointing at things on the screen like you'll be able to see what I'm pointing at, but I can just use my mouse. But... and we did it! So you can see here... we got a human corpse, and we also got some notoriety, and we also upgraded our job position, which then we have to go to work. So we're on to our final kind of stage here, even though I have not updated my live track at all. Bam, we've got two reason now. You can see I was also working towards getting a second hireling just in case this first one failed, and I picked up a better one.
Oh, okay.
As you can see, I'm quite surprised how well that worked out. And the reason I'm still keeping my health recovered there, because if I get illness, whatever, I could theoretically die still before completing this.
I think that means the boss is fulfilled.
That's what that means. So now I need to show devotion, if I can work that out, yep, to get the extra hours, to get the promotion.
Okay, come on.
Some really good timing.
I'm just hoping I'm not dying.
Bam, and then that's upgraded to a senior position now,
Oh,
which I need one of my...
means reason recovered.
Yeah.
Come on.
I don't... yeah, that's... so it's kind of just a bit of a wait. And then... bam. We throw that in. And then we chuck in passion for acceptance. And then we're done. But we just have to wait for this time to count
Yeah,
down.
that's it. When does it end? Does it end now, or does it end when this finishes?
The conclusion I came at the end ends when this finishes. I think.
That's a good question.
Either way, the top record is like... it's around 3 minutes, I think.
Okay, I need to check.
Okay. As you see there, that was my best time. Hopefully... although it probably didn't help make more sense by seeing it in action, as it's a bit of a just as confusing. But hopefully that helped.